All right, we're going to work on the area and perimeter of triangles. So remember a triangle, it's like this. And the formula for the area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. And sometimes you might see it written base times height divided by 2. That's the same thing. And the reason, I know that we've talked about the area of a rectangle is base times height. So think about if you have a rectangle, and if I put a diagonal here, I've created 2 right triangles. And that's why the area of a triangle is that base times height divided by 2, because there's 2 of them in a rectangle. So that's neat how that works. And then the perimeter of the triangle is just going to be adding up all of your sides here. We also want to remember our Pythagorean theorem, which tells us how to find the different lengths of a triangle. Remember, that is your a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. C is always your hypotenuse. Okay, so if we're going to need that later, we probably will be needing that, but let's go ahead and start working on some of these. So the base is here. That's our base of this triangle, 48. The height of a triangle here is 14. So the area, remember the area of the triangle is base times height divided by 2. So our base was 48, our height is 14. We're going to divide all that by 2, which ends up giving us 672 divided by 2, which is 336 inches squared. Okay, so the perimeter, remember, is all the sides added up together. Well, we know one side is 14, we know the other side is 48, but we don't know what this side is. So we're going to have to use our Pythagorean theorem to figure out what that side is, that side length is. And remember, your a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So we're just going to use that formula, 14 squared plus 48 squared is equal to c squared. Well, 14 squared plus 48 squared is 2,500. You can use a calculator to figure that up if you need to. And then we've got to take the square root of both of those sides to figure out what just c is. So that's an important step in that formula. And the square root of 2,500 is 50. So that side length is 50. So we've got the perimeter then is going to be all of them added up. 14 plus 48 plus 50, and that gives us 112 inches. All right, so here's another example. We've got the base of this entire triangle, which is sort of broken up into 2 triangles also, but we do have one big triangle, so the base of that is 21. The height is 8, so we know we can find the area fairly easily, which is base times height divided by 2. So 21 times 8 divided by 2. If you do the math on that, I think that's 168 divided by 2, which is 84. So that's 84. Then the perimeter. Okay, so we don't know what this side length, this hypotenuse is, and we also don't know what this hypotenuse is. Okay, so we can come up with what this length is. Well, because we know this portion here is 6, the whole thing is 21, so 21 minus 6 gives us the 15. All right, so if we're going to come over here and find this length first, let me use a different color. Let's say we're going to come find this hypotenuse first. That is our C on this side. So we know we've got 6 squared plus 8 squared is equal to our C squared. And 6 squared plus 8 squared is 100. That's equal to C squared. Okay, so remember 6 squared is 36 and 8 squared is 64. And so you're adding those two together. You guys can use a calculator for that if you need to. So C would be the square, take the square root of both sides. So the square root of 100 is 10. So that side is 10. So now we've got to go find this length, which is another hypotenuse. So we can still use our A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. But now we're talking about this triangle here. All right, so we've got 8 squared plus 15 squared is equal to our C squared over here. 8 squared plus 15 squared, let's see. 289 is C squared. Take the square root of both sides of that. So C is the square root of 289, which is 17. So this side is 17. So now we can go add up all the sides to find our perimeter. So we've got one side is 10, this side, plus the 21, plus the 17. All that adds up to be 48. All right. So here we have another triangle. The height here is in the middle. We don't know that, but we do know if this side is 6 and this side is 6, this is 2, then this also has to be 2 because they are also sharing this side. And so that's sort of like our side triangle theorem, that we know that these two are going to be the same. We can also say this whole thing is 4. All right, but we've got to find out this one height, this side, this length right here. Well, that's one of our sides. Remember, this is the hypotenuse, the 6 here. So we're going to say A squared plus B squared, because we're just taking one of these triangles. So 2 squared is equal to 6 squared. So A squared plus 2 squared is 4. 6 squared is 36. We're subtracting that 4 from both sides. So A squared is equal to 32. We're going to take the square root of both of those, and the square root of 32, actually rationalizing that, is 16 times 2 is what 32 is. Square root of 16 is 4, leaving us with the square root of 2. So this is 4 square roots of 2. I know it's a lot of work just to get some of those side lengths. Our height is 4 square root of 2. So then we're going to come find the area, which is base times height divided by 2. Our base of the entire triangle is the whole base here, 4 times the height, which is 4 square roots of 2, divided by 2, which leaves us with 16 square roots of 2, divided by 2, which is, these can reduce, 8 square roots of 2. Then the perimeter, let me put that over here, a little clearer. Perimeter, remember, is all of our sides added together, and we've got 6 plus 4 plus 6. So 6 plus the 4 plus the 6 leaves us with 16 for our perimeter. All right, so we're going to do a few more examples here. We have got, let's see, this, because we're told these are the same. that tells me this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Those sides are the same, so we could say one side squared plus the other side squared, and we know that those are the same, so we can say S and S for those is equal to 10 squared. So 2 sides squared is equal to 100. Divide both sides by 2. Side squared is 50. Let's take the square root of both sides. So the square root of 50 is 25 times the square root of 2. The square root of 25 is 5 square roots of 2. So these are both 5 square roots of 2, 5 square roots of 2. So my base is 5 square roots of 2. My height is also 5 square roots of 2. So the area, base times height divided by 2. So 5 square roots of 2 times 5 square roots of 2, all divided by 2. Well, remember, let's see, that's, we multiply the outside, so that's 25 square roots of 4 divided by 2. The square root of 4 is 2, so that makes it 25 times 2 divided by 2, which is 50 divided by 2, which is 25. So the area here is 25. The perimeter is adding up all those sides. So we've got 5 square roots of 2 plus 5 square roots of 2 plus the 10. Well, since these are both square roots of 2, you can join those two terms, and then we have 10 square roots of 2 plus the 10. And so that is as far as we can go. We cannot join those terms because they are not alike. So 10 square roots of 2 plus 10. All right, so number 5 here, we're told that this is an equilateral triangle, so that tells us all these sides are the same. So these are all 8, but we don't know the height of this triangle. Because remember that height has to be that perpendicular line there. So if this whole side is 8, we know each one of these has got to be 4 because they are the same. Okay, so we can figure out what's the height here, or the A out of that triangle. So A squared plus 4 squared equals 8 squared. So A squared plus 16 is equal to 64. We'll subtract that 16. So A squared is equal to 48. Take the square root of both sides. A is, so 48 rationalized would be 16 times 3. So the square root of 16 is 4 square roots of 3. So this height here is 4 square roots of 3. We know that base is 8. So we're looking for the area, base times height divided by 2. So 8 times the height, 4 square roots of 3 divided by 2. And we can say that is 32 square roots of 3 divided by 2. We can reduce the 32 and the 2. That becomes 16 square roots of 3. Then for our perimeter, remember adding up the outside edges, which is 8 plus 8 plus 8, 24. All right, so now we have a composite figure. We're going to have to come up with the area of this. So this portion here is a rectangle, and we know the area of a rectangle is just the base times the height. So here we've got a base of 12 and a height of 5. So 12 times 5 gives us 60. Then we're going to find the area of this triangle that's on our rooftop. And so we know that if this is 12, this is also 12. So the area of the triangle portion on the top is that base times height divided by 2. So we have got 12 as our base. 3 is our height. We're dividing that by 2. So that becomes, 36 divided by 2, which is 18. So to find the total area is the area of the triangle, 60, plus the area of the rectangle, which is 60, plus the area of the triangle, which is 18. So add those together and you're going to get 78. All right, last example here. We've got a triangle with an area of 46 that has a base of 4. Find the height. Okay, well, let's draw a picture. We've got a triangle. We know the area is 46. We know the base is 4. So this is 4. The area is 46. So remember, area is base times height divided by 2 of a triangle. So it's really getting important to watch and see what kind of shapes you're dealing with each time to make sure you're using the right formulas. Okay, so we are told that area is 46. We're told the base is 4. We don't know the height, and we're dividing it by 2. So all I did was fill in the known information into my formula, and now I'm just going to go solve. So I can get rid of this 2 on the bottom by multiplying both sides by 2, or the 2 in the denominator, I should say. So 2 times 46 is 92, and these 2's create, that's just over 1 now, so we don't have to write that, is equal to 4h. Then we'll divide both sides by 4, so h is equal to 23. So the height is 23. So you can use those formulas to find different parts of the triangle if you're given different information. So hopefully that's clear.